Hey guys, it's Brooke, and today I'm going to be talking about seeing and meeting Don Felder. I am sitting here in front of our fake fireplace that we have inside our real fireplace because it is so cold, and I wanted to put on my short sleeve shirt from this experience to film the video, but I literally couldn't stand not wearing a sweatshirt because it is so freaking cold, so I decided that I was going to sit in front of this space heater to film. I actually feel like this looks really festive. I feel like I might try to film some Christmas videos right here and like spruce it up, like put some lights around it. Like I feel like this actually looks really festive. Let me know. Maybe I'm being ridiculous. Anyway, Don Felder. So if you don't know who Don Felder is, get off my channel. Just kidding. If you don't know who Don Felder is, he was one of the guitarists in the band The Eagles, and if you watch my channel, you know that I love The Eagles. I saw the remaining members of The Eagles in April. Don Felder was not with them as he does not tour with them anymore. I mentioned in my recent video about Lindsey Buckingham suing Fleetwood Mac that he had left the band and sued them and had that outcome from that. So he was not with the touring lineup when I saw them in April, but he does solo shows, and he was coming to Montgomery, Alabama, which is not far from where I live, and it's crazy because like that's like my city technically when it comes to concert cities. Like I don't live directly there, but I live, you know, that's the closest place to me where there would be concerts, and nobody comes there. So when I found out he was coming there, I was like, whoa, and my mom was like, whoa, and at first, like, we found out about it almost a year ago, and we're kind of like, I don't know. This was before we actually saw the Eagles. She asked me probably 2 months ago, she said, okay, do you want to go to this? And I said, yeah. And she said, do you want to meet him? And I was like, yeah. And she ended up, for my early birthday, my birthday is December 18th, so this was an early birthday present, so for my early birthday gift, she bought us VIP with meet and greet tickets to see Don Felder. Now, I have never done any kind of VIP meet and greet experience. I know people do those with One Direction and 5 Seconds of Summer and Taylor Swift, The Rep Room, all of that stuff. I have never had money for that, and this was a very, very special occasion that I did, and I'm really lucky that I got to have this experience. Now, so this concert was on October 27th of 2018. The reason why I am just now filming this video is because I wanted to wait until I got my merchandise package in the mail so I could talk about it. So what we bought tickets for was the VIP experience, and what that guaranteed was a professional photo taken with him, signed poster, a t-shirt, and a special merchandise item that would be mailed to you. You obviously get to meet him, and you got a ticket within the first 5 rows of the concert. And that is the package that we had. Leading up to this, I was really excited because I was going to take my copy of Hotel California on vinyl and get him to sign the Hotel California vinyl, because I thought that would be like the coolest thing ever, because he obviously plays on Hotel California, and if you did not know, wrote the guitar in Hotel California, which is one of the most iconic guitar licks ever. But closer time, I find out that you're not allowed to bring him any Eagles merchandise to sign because he's no longer at the Eagles, so I didn't get to do that, but it was okay. Leading up, I was really excited, but I felt like I really didn't have time to get super like into it beforehand because I was studying for my ACT test, which I took that morning. I went in the morning at 8 o'clock in the morning and took my ACT test until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I had been really stressed out about it. If you don't know, in America, the ACT, it literally stands for American College Test, and you take it and you get a score on it that determines if you can get into certain universities, and I already had a score that would get me into anywhere that I'm going to go, but I was taking it again because I want to try to get some kind of like scholarships and things to help pay for college. And so I was taking it, and I had been studying my butt off for it, and I was really nervous about that, and I had been saying, okay, I have to get through this test and then I can be excited about this concert. And they were on the same day, and that's pretty much what happened. After I finished the test, I was like, okay, now I'm in the zone. Out there, we got to the Performing Arts Center that he played at probably an hour before we were actually like had to be there, and we were the first people in line for the VIP. And the way it was actually funny, because everyone lined up, and we didn't even really notice it, but as the people filled in to line up, like me and my mom and my stepdad were standing here, and people started coming in, and they would come in groups, and they would get ahead of us, and all of a sudden we looked up, and we were at the dead back of the line, and everyone had gotten in front of us, and we were like, we've been here for an hour and a half, are we gonna be last? But this that's actually not what ended up happening. So finally, and like we waited, and they were like 30 minutes late actually bringing us back for the VIP meeting, and we went back into a room that was backstage and sat down in little chairs, and it was cool. There were posters all over the walls from all the other people who had been there and performed, and we sat, and probably 15 more minutes went by, and finally they said, okay, come out here. And we walked down this long hallway, and we got in a line, and me and my mom actually did end up being the first people in that line, so we ended up okay with us being the first people there. We actually did get to be the first people in line to meet him, so it was all good. But I just thought that was kind of funny that we were like, are we gonna be last now? I got so nervous before we met him. I don't know why. I was thinking about like what I was gonna ask him, which I really hadn't thought about before I went, because I was so focused on this test. I really hadn't gotten excited about going, and I didn't know. I was like, what am I gonna ask him? And me and my mom were joking like that I needed to ask him what Stevie Nicks was like, because even though Stevie Nicks was never with Don Felder, she dated Don Henley and Joe Walsh, who were both in the Eagles, so she obviously spent time with Don Felder, and stuff like that. And you know, he wrote Those Shoes, which is one of my favorite Eagles songs, as well as Victim of Love, which I also really love. So I wanted to say something about that, but like I just really didn't know, and I got so nervous. Like I felt like I was gonna be sick before we met him, and I was like, oh my god. So this is the first time I've ever really met someone like that, and I was just so freaked out. I don't know why. I guess starstruck. I guess that is a real thing. Finally, he comes out, and he's very, very chill, and we walk up in line, and he says, okay, look at these people, we're gonna take the pictures first. And so we took the pictures first, and then he looked at us, and he said, hey, how are y'all? And we were like, we're good. And I really wasn't saying anything because I was nervous. And my mom got him to sign her ticket, and she said, I want to tell you something about my daughter. And he said, okay. And she said, you know, this is my daughter. She's 17. She's about to turn 18. And when I asked her if she wanted for her 18th birthday to meet you, she said that was absolutely what she wanted. And he was like, wow, congratulations. And when she said she wanted to meet you for her birthday, like this was her whole birthday gift, he just looked at me, and he just went and hugged me, and I was like, which was so cool. Like I hugged him at first when we first walked up there, but like that was a cool moment. Like that was my moment there. And while she was talking to him, I very nervously, I had on this meet and greet badge, which is cool. Cool, I've never had one of these before. And while he was talking, I didn't take it off, I just kind of did this. And he picked it up and signed it, so there's the signature there. And I like really had said nothing. I was just kind of looking like, that's actually Don Felder, while my mom was talking to him. And he looked at me and he said, so do you play any instruments? I said, I play a little bit of piano, I play a little bit of violin, but I haven't done much of that since I was little. I got a guitar that I'm trying to learn how to play, but I need to work on that more. I try to sing, but it doesn't go very well, or something like that. And he was like, yeah, I never actually took lessons for any of the instruments I ever played. I tried to teach myself how to play piano, and it was just kind of like this. And there's actually a picture that the girl who had my phone took when he was doing this, which will be in it. I'm gonna put all the videos and pictures at the end. It was really good, and he's just such a sweet guy, and it was just such a surreal opportunity to be like, wow, this person was a huge part of one of my favorite bands of all time, one of the biggest bands of all time, who put out like the biggest selling record of the 20th century, and I was just like, this is absolutely crazy. And so we, hugged again and left, and we were the first ones, so he still had to meet all of the other people. So we had time and got our like refreshments and stuff that we wanted to get from the snack bar, and then we went and sat down and we saw the very end of the opening act. The opening act was someone local, I believe, who's in country music. And I have when he came out on stage on video, but when Don came out on stage, it was really cool. They kind of announced him, and they were like, a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a Grammy Award winner. Like, it was a really good introduction. And he came out and he started playing Already Gone, which was really good. But me and my mom were like, that's kind of a shady opening song. Because he got kicked out of the Eagles and he started playing with Already Gone. But it's okay. It's all good. It's all good. But we kind of snickered at that a little bit, but it was really good. I also played One of These Nights, which was awesome. And I saw what people would call the real Eagles in April, and they were fantastic. I believe I said in that video that was one of the best concerts I had ever been to, and I still stand to that. But he did so well, like, to be on his own. Like, that concert was very much so comparable with seeing all of the current Eagles. So I was extremely impressed with that. He did a cover of Pride and Joy by Stevie Ray Vaughan, which was so good. I'm literally obsessed with it, and I'm so irritated that there's not a version of it on Spotify anywhere, or like a recorded version of him playing it. There's somebody who went to the same like show of the same tour the night before I did in Georgia, and they put a video of it on YouTube of him playing it, and I'm gonna link that video. I've gone back and watched that video probably 30 times because I didn't film that song, and I wish so bad that I had a recording of it, but I don't. So I've been watching that person's video of it, but that was one of the best performances. And he played Victim of Love, which was one of his ones that he wrote, obviously, and it was a huge controversy if you've ever watched the history of the Eagles, because they kind of screwed him over, because he wrote the song and he wanted to do the lead vocals on it, but they were like, no, we need to have Don Henley do the vocals. So Irving Azoff took him out to lunch, and while they were out to lunch, Don recorded the vocals, and those were the vocals that they used on the album. So that has always been kind of a thing, and I thought it was kind of cool that he got to take back his song and play it. And I will say that that version, I believe, was better than when I saw the Eagles. I'm gonna give him that. Played Peaceful Easy Feeling, and then he kind of, he was like, okay, I'm gonna let my bass player here play a song, and his bass player did Take It to the Limit, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, but like it was actually so good. Like his bass player was so talented at singing, and it was just like a really, really good moment. And then he played Tequila Sunrise, and he said, I want to dedicate this to one of my really good friends who's no longer with us. That may not be his exact quote. I have it on video, which I'll put it in at the end. But he was talking about Glenn, and he dedicated that song to Glenn. And I literally cried because Glenn was my favorite. And he, you know, passed away at the beginning of 2016. And I never got to see him. I've seen all of them but him. And Glenn was the main one that Don Felder had the feud with and who he was suing. And like Glenn was the center of that entire feud. But he still took a moment to dedicate that song to him. And it made me emotional. And then he played Seven Bridges Road, which I don't think most people know this, but Seven Bridges Road by the Eagles was actually written about a road in Montgomery. So that was a cool little thing because he was in Montgomery. And he was like, oh, I really like this song. We didn't ever put it on one of the full studio albums. We put it on the 1980 live album. But we used to sing this before shows to see whose vocals were good and who had been out drinking and stuff the night before and whose vocals weren't good. And then he was like, that was me. So that was funny. And then he introduced his band. His band was an all-star lineup of people. His bass player, who he had previously talked about, was one of the bass players for Bad Company, and I believe had sung with someone else who was really big over the years. And his drummer had drummed for a lot of people, including Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Keyboardist, they had played for Stevie, they had played for several other people. The other, like, backing guitarist played for a lot of people, including Tanya Tucker, a lot of people who were in country music. And so he had like an all-star lineup of people in his band, and they put on an excellent show. He played a song off of his one solo album that he's put out called Girls in Black, and I didn't know that song, but it was actually really good, and that's the song that I put in the intro to this video. And then he played Heavy Metal, which is a song that he did for a movie. And he was talking about how he originally had that as a tape. If you've watched History of the Eagles, they refer to them as the Felder tapes. But as a tape is something that he had written for him and Joe to play off of to each other. And it never ended up getting used, so he came back to it and used it for this movie soundtrack. And it was really good. And so many times, because guitar is obviously his strong point, and he would just break out into so many guitar solos, and they would be so phenomenal. And I have videos of a lot of those moments that I'm going to be including. And he played Witchy Woman, which I love, and he played The Long Run. And I had been to see Foreigner at this venue previously, and the way it is, it's basically, it's a small venue. It's like a huge movie theater, basically. Like, it's bigger than a movie theater. That's definitely an underestimate. Like, but the way that it's set up, it's not set up like an arena, and it's not set up like an amphitheater. It is a theater. And there's a balcony and a mezzanine and all of that. And my seats, I don't even think I even said, were on the 4th row over to the left side, and I was on the aisle seat, so I had a really good view. Like, I could see him great anyway. But when I had seen Foreigner, they had said, okay, everyone can just get up and come here, because like there are seats, like, you know, normal concert seating, but the floor was just open. So, not open, but I mean, like, the aisles were open and up in front of the stage was open, and they had said, okay, you can come here. And I was actually in the balcony for Foreigner, and I didn't get to do that. And another time in Birmingham, Alabama, I had seen the Fab Four, which are a tribute band to the Beatles, and I had been sitting closer then, and they did the same thing. It was a similar arrangement as far as the seating went, and I got up and got right in the front there. And so after the long run, Don was like, hey, come up here. And so I had been like waiting for that moment. So I jumped out of my seat. My mom had a cup of Coke sitting next to her. I accidentally hit the cup of Coke and it spilled everywhere. And I got up and I ran up there, and I was the first and the only person who ran up there. And good old Don looked right at me, and then he looked out at the audience and he said, no, for real, y'all can come here. And then some more people got up and came down there, including my mom, and she got next to me. And it was so cool because I was literally pressed up against the stage, and I had my arms resting like this on the stage. And I took several videos actually where I literally like have my phone sitting on the stage. If you watch the video that I posted of him playing Hotel California, I literally had my phone sitting on the stage, and I just had my hand on top of it, and then I was watching. And at one point he was literally right here above me playing the guitar, and he had the double neck black and white guitar that he played back in the Hotel California days, and it was just such an experience. And he played Heartache Tonight, and he played Life in the Fast Lane, and Life in the Fast Lane is me and my mom's song. That's our jam, so it was cool that we got to hear it being right there in front of him. And then he played Take It Easy and Hotel California, and it was just such a good experience overall. So I can't believe that I got to meet him and be, you know, front row / barricade at the concert. I have this autograph from him. After he went off stage, I saw that there were set lists up on the stage, and so I stayed up there. And when the guy came out to start cleaning, I said, you know, hey, can I have one of those? And another guy had already asked, and he was like, no, I'm sorry, someone already asked. And so he gave one to the other guy, and then he found another one. He turned around and handed it to me. So I actually got the set list too, so that's really cool. And then today I finally got my package in the mail with the VIP merch, and it came with this poster, which I really like. It's like a really high quality poster. It's not like normal poster material. It's like poster board. And it's very like generic, but like in a good way. Like it's very, it doesn't have to be specific to one thing. Like it just goes with having seen him. Like it doesn't have the date or anything on it, or like you can tell this is like a design he's used for other stuff, but like in a good way. So it has his name on it, and there's his signature. I believe his signature on here is a little bit clearer than the one on my lanyard, so that's good. And this has kind of a Hotel California vibe to it. And then the shirt is pretty much the exact same design. The other piece of VIP merchandise was this tote bag, and I love a good tote bag, so that was awesome. And yeah, I am so thankful that I got this experience, and for my mom for going with me and getting the tickets, and yeah, it was great. So yeah. I'm going to add in all of the videos that I took, and he himself said, as well as the thing that you like, the information you received before going, said that you were welcome to take any videos of the performance you wanted to, and the whole video of Hotel California that I put up did not get copyrighted. So if I get a copyright notice on this video, I'm gonna be really freaking upset, because Don Felder himself told me I could take these videos. Put that, and I'm gonna put all the pictures that I have. Please make sure to check out my videos from the last couple of weeks. I will have the most recent 3 linked in the description. Please make sure to check out the video that I did called Justice for Alyssa. It's really important to me. Also, follow me on Twitter. This is my Twitter, and I post about the Alyssa stuff a lot on there, and I really appreciate you watching, and I hope you enjoy the video clips. I will see you guys soon.
Don Felder.
million stars all around. I got a peaceful, easy feeling. I know you won't let me down, 'cause I'm already standing on the ground. I found out a long time ago what a woman can do to a soul. Oh, she can take you anyway. You don't already know how it goes. Old ex-bandmates wrote, I'd like to dedicate it to him in his honor, Mr. Glenn Fry. It's another tequila sunrise, Got a couple more songs for you. This song actually was the first song that the Eagles released, and it was in 1971. It became their first big hit and kind of started the whole Eagles movie rolling. And I know you know every lyric to this entire song. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
1, 2, 3, go.
Down the road, trying to loosen my load. I just say the women on my mind. More than one, I hope it's two than one. So many ones, and she's a friend of mine. Take it easy, take it easy. Stand on you. I know why you're still here. Don't even try to understand. Just find a place to make you feel. Take it easy. Well, I was sitting on a corner in Winslow, Arizona, such a fine sight to see. It's a girl, my lord, in a black and board. Slow it down, take a look at me. Come on, baby, don't say maybe. I gotta know if your sweet love is gonna stay. We may win, but we will never be here again. So open up, I'm climbing in. Take it easy. Woo!
as you sing along and help remind me of these lyrics, especially in the middle of the song, I really appreciate it.
Yes.